Have you ever felt as though you were constantly battling unseen forces in your life? It might sound like something out of a supernatural thriller, but the truth is, sometimes the people around us can indeed act as agents of chaos. 8 hidden signs someone in your life was sent by the devil to sabotage you. Unveils unsettling truths about how to identify those who may not have your best interests at heart. This guide not only touches on a hidden wound but offers the antidote to recognize and defend yourself against these malevolent influences that seek to divert you from your path of success and happiness. Prepare yourself for a journey of self-discovery that will challenge your deepest beliefs and equip you with the tools needed to shield your life from hidden saboteurs. Are you ready to uncover who in your life might be under the influence of evil? Gaslighting is an insidiously malicious form of psychological manipulation designed to distort or outright deny the victim's reality, with the intent of confusing and emotionally weakening them. In the context of a spiritual quest, the impact of this phenomenon is even more profound. Imagine a journey where self-awareness and a connection to inner truth are paramount, yet there exists an external force continuously distorting your perceptions, making you doubt even your most basic intuitions. Gaslighting is not merely about controlling facts, but about controlling the very perception of reality that the victim holds. This manipulation creates a dangerous disconnection between the individual and their spiritual essence. This disconnection can unfold so subtly that, at first, the victim may not realize what is happening. Minor details are questioned, memories are dismissed, and gradually, the person begins to doubt everything they once held as true, including their spiritual path. This is particularly damaging because spirituality often demands a high degree of self-trust and internal clarity. When one begins to question their own experiences and the authenticity of their spiritual connection, the practice weakens, and the path becomes clouded. What should have been a process of spiritual strengthening and elevation turns into a cycle of doubt and confusion. To combat gaslighting and prevent it from eroding your spirituality, it is essential to fortify your practices of introspection and self-knowledge. Practices such as meditation, keeping a spiritual journal, and seeking out a trustworthy support network are vital to maintaining emotional stability and spiritual clarity. Recognizing the signs of manipulation, trusting in your perceptions, and validating your experiences with like-minded individuals on the same journey can be the first steps toward breaking the destructive cycle. Above all, never abandon your intuition. Believe that your perception of reality is valid, even when others attempt to distort it. The impact of gaslighting is deep and often not easily recognized until significant damage has already been done. This is particularly harmful in spiritual journeys, where clarity of thought and trust in one's intuition are paramount. For example, if someone is trying to meditate or interpret spiritual messages, being constantly discredited can severely obstruct this process. For those who have been through this, you know how confusing and disorienting it can be. To counter this type of manipulation, it is crucial to be aware of the signs and trust your own experience. If you feel disoriented or doubtful about your perceptions, seek support from trusted individuals who can validate your reality. Consider practices that strengthen your connection with your inner self, such as meditation or keeping a spiritual journal, which can help reaffirm your perceptions and memories. This inner reinforcement is vital to maintaining the integrity of your spiritual path. Grandiosity and the superiority complex are traits that obstruct true spiritual growth, as they create a gulf between the individual and the world around them. When someone perceives themselves as above others, an inflated ego takes control, and humility, so essential for spiritual progress, is cast aside. This sense of superiority often leads to a profound disconnection from others and from one's spiritual reality. The individual may begin to believe that they have already attained all the knowledge they need, that their worldview is the only correct one, and that others are on a lower plane. This prevents continuous learning and the healthy exchange of experiences that nourish spiritual growth. In practice, this behavior can manifest in various ways. The person tends to monopolize conversations, dismiss advice, or even humiliate those who offer differing viewpoints. Picture someone in a spiritual group who believes they alone hold the true connection to the divine. They disregard others' experiences and refuse to listen to any form of criticism, creating a barrier that blocks genuine, meaningful exchange. Spirituality, however, requires humility and the recognition that learning is a lifelong journey. When the ego takes over, the spiritual path becomes shallow, focused on appearances rather than true evolution. To counter this negative influence, it is crucial for the individual to cultivate self-awareness and humility. Developing the ability to reflect on one's limitations, admit mistakes, and open up to new perspectives is fundamental in dismantling this barrier of superiority. Grandiosity must be replaced by empathy and a sincere desire for collective growth. Engaging in groups where everyone has the opportunity to learn and share their journeys without judgment can help dissolve the need to place oneself above others. Only when the ego is kept in check can true spiritual progress flourish, and the path becomes about what we can give to others, not just what we can receive. This barrier not only alienates others but also prevents the individual from experiencing the kind of introspection and personal growth that fosters true spiritual development. Grandiosity can be a reflection of deep-seated insecurity, a mask to hide vulnerabilities. Those in this state often struggle to accept criticism or consider alternative perspectives, which is vital in any worthwhile spiritual journey. For instance, in a spiritual study group, this behavior can create a toxic environment where mutual learning and support are replaced by conflict and disconnection. Humility is one of the central virtues on the spiritual path, and nurturing this quality may be the most effective antidote to grandiosity and the superiority complex. By embracing the idea that there is always more to learn, the person opens themselves up to meaningful exchanges with others, recognizing the value of different perspectives and experiences. This ongoing process of learning helps shatter the illusion that one knows it all or exists on a higher level. Participating in spiritual groups and communities can serve as a powerful platform to exercise this humility, as mutual respect and sincere support are the foundations that sustain everyone's growth. In these environments, the exchange of ideas, collective learning, and sharing of experiences create a space where the ego is naturally challenged. By engaging with fellow spiritual seekers, the barriers of superiority begin to fall, as the focus shifts from me to us. Groups that encourage collaboration and mutual support foster empathy, understanding, and acceptance, qualities that stand in stark contrast to egocentric behavior. For example, in group meditation practices, there is a sense of unity and connection that transcends the individual ego. The shared silence and collective introspection teach that, in the end, we are all on a journey of evolution and discovery, and no one is above another. Spiritual retreats also provide an excellent opportunity to deconstruct the ego's barriers. In these immersive settings, individuals are encouraged to disconnect from daily distractions and reconnect with the deeper aspects of their spirituality. The time devoted to meditation, silence, and reflection, often amidst nature, helps dissolve the illusions of superiority. Additionally, being in the company of others who are pursuing the same goal, spiritual growth, reinforces the idea that the journey is a shared one. When we connect with the vulnerability and truth of others, we come to realize that we are all mirrors of one another, learning and evolving together. One of the most telling signs of negative influences in an individual is the stark absence of empathy, which often manifests as emotional vampirism. Those who suffer from this condition tend to drain energy from others, leaving behind a trail of emotional exhaustion and spiritual depletion. Imagine constantly being around someone who saps your energy, feeding off your positive emotions while leaving little room for your own emotional recovery. Not only is this debilitating, but it also stunts personal growth and hinders the ability to maintain a healthy state of well-being. This behavior is particularly harmful in environments where emotional support and empathy are crucial for group cohesion and individual growth. For instance, in support groups or spiritual communities, an emotional vampire can create an atmosphere of distrust and fatigue, undermining the group's overall effectiveness. To combat this influence, it is essential to recognize the signs early on and establish firm boundaries. Practices of self-awareness and self-care, such as yoga or therapy, can help fortify emotional and spiritual resilience. Emotional vampirism, which refers to those who constantly drain the emotional energy of others, can have devastating effects on both emotional well-being and mental health. To reverse or mitigate these effects, the first step is recognizing the interaction patterns that are depleting your energy. Often, these toxic relationships are disguised as friendship or closeness, but a closer examination reveals a clear imbalance in emotional exchanges. A good way to start combating emotional vampirism is to conduct an honest analysis of your relationships, identifying who in your life offers support and positivity, and who consistently demands more than they give. Once emotional vampires are identified, it is crucial to begin setting healthy boundaries. Establishing clear limits is fundamental to protecting your energy. This may include spending less time with such individuals or learning to say no when you feel emotionally overwhelmed. Distancing yourself from toxic relationships is not easy, especially when deep bonds are involved, but it is necessary to preserve your emotional and spiritual health. At the same time, it is vital to invest in relationships that foster mutual support and balanced energy exchanges. These connections not only provide a safe space for emotional growth but also reinforce the importance of reciprocity in any healthy interaction. Cultivating a positive social circle has a transformative impact. Surrounding yourself with individuals who share the same values of support, empathy, and growth can create an empowering environment where everyone thrives. These individuals help build a support network that doesn't deplete your energy but rather replenishes your emotional reserves. Additionally, self-care practices, such as regular moments of solitude, meditation, or even creative activities, can serve as a way to restore your emotional energy, helping you balance external demands. The process of distancing yourself from emotional vampires and strengthening your support network is a crucial step in creating a more balanced and healthy life, where the focus is on personal growth and collective well-being. An environment steeped in chronic negativity can be extremely toxic, especially when someone uses constant criticism as a tool to undermine others' confidence and self-worth. Individuals who perpetuate this negativity often take pleasure in destroying the self-image of others, a tactic that allows them to maintain a distorted sense of superiority and control. Imagine living with someone who never has anything positive to say, who always finds faults and errors, regardless of the efforts or intentions of those around them. This type of behavior not only mentally exhausts those affected but also stifles the personal and spiritual growth of everyone involved. This negativity is not limited to verbal criticism. It can manifest in subtle sabotage, such as spreading rumors or discouraging others from pursuing their goals. For instance, in a work environment, or even within family or social circles, this destructive pattern can create a climate of fear and distrust, hindering collaboration and mutual support. To combat this negative influence, it is essential to cultivate a balanced perspective and seek sources of constructive feedback. Encouraging self-reflection and developing a thicker skin against destructive criticism is vital. Practices like cognitive behavioral therapy or simply maintaining a journal can help process and neutralize the effects of such negativity. Moreover, it is important to build and maintain a support network of individuals who acknowledge and celebrate your successes and progress, thereby strengthening your emotional and spiritual resilience. Interacting with individuals who emit negative energies can be likened to standing near an emotional and spiritual black hole. These interactions can leave you feeling drained, devoid of positive energy and vitality, a condition that can be deeply disorienting and exhausting. Imagine the mental and spiritual depletion that follows each encounter with such people, as if every part of your energy were being siphoned away, leaving little for your own regeneration and growth. This type of energy drain not only compromises personal well-being but also hinders the ability to maintain a consistent and meaningful spiritual practice. For those pursuing a path of enlightenment and spiritual growth, recognizing these patterns and learning how to protect oneself is crucial. Practices like protective meditation, visualizing energy shields, or simply spending time recovering in natural environments can help restore the lost energy. Moreover, it is vital to establish healthy boundaries and consciously decide with whom to share your energy. Seeking out communities and relationships that are nurturing and that positively reinforce energetic exchanges can be transformative. Holistic therapies or spiritual counseling may also provide additional tools for dealing with and mitigating the effects of spiritual and mental exhaustion. These measures not only protect but also empower the individual in their journey. In many contexts, Individuals under negative influences can become promoters of behaviors that go against established ethical values and principles. The allure of immediate pleasure and the pressure to compromise personal integrity are common traps in such situations. Imagine being in a scenario where the choices seem tempting in the short term, but deep down, you know they contradict your most profound values. The ability to resist these temptations is critical for maintaining integrity and spiritual alignment. These sinful behaviors not only divert individuals from their spiritual paths but can also lead to lasting negative consequences. For example, succumbing to the pressure to engage in illicit or morally dubious activities can result in significant emotional and spiritual losses. Therefore, it is essential to strengthen moral and spiritual resilience by cultivating a strong connection to one's values and beliefs. To combat these influences, it is advisable to seek guidance from sacred texts, spiritual mentors, or communities that share ethical values. Joining support groups where one can openly discuss temptations and moral challenges can also provide a safety net, reinforcing commitment to an ethical lifestyle aligned with higher principles. Vigilance and conscious choices are powerful allies in the journey against moral degradation. One of the most insidious methods of negative influence is the infiltration of doubt into a person's beliefs and values. This is often done subtly, by questioning the validity or relevance of the convictions that serve as pillars for the individual's life and identity. Imagine constantly being confronted with questions about what you hold most sacred and true. This can be deeply unsettling and lead to a profound crisis of faith. This type of spiritual attack can be particularly challenging because it strikes at the core of a person's identity and their understanding of the world. For those facing such challenges, it is vital not only to defend their beliefs but also to reinforce them through study, prayer, and communion with others who share these views. For instance, participating in Bible study groups or meditation sessions can help strengthen faith and clarify one's values. Additionally, it is important to engage in open and respectful dialogues with people who challenge your beliefs in a constructive way. This not only provides an opportunity for growth and mutual understanding, but also prepares the individual to respond to questions with confidence and conviction. Remaining firmly anchored within a supportive community offers a refuge against the storms of doubt that may arise. The love bombing and devaluation cycle is a manipulative emotional tactic used by those who exert negative influence. Initially, the perpetrator overwhelms the victim with excessive attention, praise, and displays of affection, making the person feel special and deeply valued. However, this phase of idealization is quickly followed by a phase of devaluation, where harsh criticism and belittling behavior are employed to confuse and destroy the victim's self-esteem. Imagine going from feeling highly esteemed to questioning your own worth in a matter of moments, an emotional shock that can leave lasting scars. This pattern not only destabilizes the victim emotionally but also creates an unhealthy dependence within the relationship, where the victim desperately strives to regain the lost approval and affection. Examples of this are frequently found in abusive relationships, where the abuser uses this cycle to maintain control over the victim. Recognizing this dynamic is crucial in order to protect oneself and eventually break free from such destructive influences. To protect oneself, it is essential to develop self-awareness and recognize the early signs of this cycle. Therapy and support from self-help groups can be valuable tools for those trying to extricate themselves from toxic relationships. Additionally, strengthening your support network with friends and family who understand and recognize each individual's inherent worth can help rebuild self-esteem and emotional independence. Now that you are armed with the knowledge of 8 hidden signs someone in your life was sent by the devil to sabotage you, what will you do next? This information is only the beginning. Every step you take towards self-awareness and defending against negative influences is a step toward a fuller, more protected life. How will you apply these revelations to your daily life? Which relationships will you reevaluate? And more importantly, how will you fortify your spirit against such attacks? Don't let this journey end here. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share your experience in the comments below. Join our ever-growing community that seeks not just to survive but to thrive in the face of adversity. Remember, knowledge is your best defense. The power to change your life for the better is in your hands. Are you ready to face these challenges and turn every obstacle into a victory?